Now, as we know, it's confirmed F126 is going to be a DLC expansion to the current F125 game. So this video is going to be some bug fixes and improvements to be made to the current F125 game, which I've written down, some of my own, some from the community, and all of these are things that I deem are fixable in this current game cycle and don't need to be postponed for a brand new game. I hope this video gets seen by someone at Cody's or EA and they take this feedback down, because every little helps, and now is the time to work on this, because basically we're going to have this F125 game for about another 18 months. So essentially, bugs and improvements that you wouldn't normally make to the game at this stage in the game cycle now become actually a bit more of a concrete conversation and something to be discussed, because this game is still going to be used for a long time. Now, for this one, I have a whole list of things I've written down. I have 4 sections on the bugs, and then I just have a general improvements section, which I'll leave at the end. Also, 3 things I want to talk about in this video regarding the approach to F126. So we're going to begin with that. Number 1, community feedback must be used more than ever, because you're not going to make massive changes to the game now. So basically, it's about patching as many little things that you can find to make the experience as smooth as possible. Now, 2 kind of ties in hand with number 1 and will be the main focus of this video. Fix a lot of the legacy, long-term, and kind of persisting, reoccurring bugs. That will massively help. And community feedback point 1 will help achieve that. And number 3, very simple, improve the game using the existing framework of features, which will make the experience a bit more palatable. So we'll talk about that in more depth, especially in the improvements at the end. Anyway, that's the 3-step approach to make F126 more palatable. Now, we're going to talk about bugs, because this is the biggest thing of this video. I want to fix bugs, because the more bugs you fix, the better the game will be, the better the experience will be. It will be smoother, more fun to play, and less things for people to worry about. Now, for the bugs, I have 4 categories in these, okay? So number 1 is the bumps on the tracks. Number 2 is specific track bugs. Number 3, spectator mode, or kind of watching spectator bugs in general. And then number 4 is going to be other bugs focused on gameplay and peripherals. So number 1, bumps on tracks. I'm going to read these out and I might play a few visual examples on screen, but I do believe one of these is getting patched right now, but it has been a persisting one, so I'm going to name it anyway and hope it gets fixed permanently. So obviously the first one is Bahrain Turn 4, the bug where you just exit the curb and the car stops. Also, we have the same situation for recurring tracks and kind of recurring theme bugs like Spain, the last few corners / the pit entry, so around turn 11 to turn 13 plus the pit entry. Also Austria, the final 2 corners, the entry especially to the penultimate corner, so turn 7 to turn 9 give or take, also have bumps. China, turn 14, I believe that's the exit of the banking onto the back straight, also has kind of a random bug where at different points your car could stop still or get stuck on the curb. Also the Qatar pit straight is extremely bumpy and everyone drives on the left side of the road to avoid all of those bumps. One more I forgot to note is also Abu Dhabi turn 9 on the inside apex. There's a small bump there as well. All of these, and I'm sure there's others people might recommend in the comments below. So guys, if you're watching from EA Cody's, read the comments. I'm sure there'll be other ones that I haven't mentioned that also bother people. I had some mentions of possible reverse track bugs and bumps as well, but these are the most reoccurring ones that have been in the game for a long time now, and this needs to be fixed. And also a small mention as well, not currently present in the game to my knowledge mostly, but we've had a past track record of potholes at Abu Dhabi and China as well, which have been fixed for now. Hopefully those never come back. Now that's the bumps. Point 2, track bugs specifically. Number 1, this one is very recent and it's actually led to PSGL and WOR, the leagues, actually cancelling their scheduled rounds there. Canada turn 3 has an incorrect 10-second penalty, so I'm guessing you obviously cut the chicane and the game, instead of giving you a warning or a 3-second pen, just gives you an automatic 10-second time penalty, which is completely broken. Another one which recently got flagged up was Creator Series Abu Dhabi, the pit entry. This has been the case now for a long time, both on the current version of the track and the old version pre-2021, I believe. And yeah, basically you have to keep the car inside the white lines. If you touched any of the white lines, especially on the inside part, you get either a warning or a double warning or sometimes an automatic penalty. So that's been a thing for years now. Please fix that because it doesn't make any sense. Miami was actually one that got flagged up quite a lot, and it's going to be my main focus here regarding the track bugs. So number one, around Miami, no leagues run it because you can actually get teleported onto the track again. So from the pits you spawn onto the track. In some cases you actually spawn underground, so the pits are buggy in Miami. I remember seeing, I think Ben in Creator Series a few months ago have this issue. Also, personal experience, and I'm sure others will agree, Miami has a weird track grip bug, okay? The best example I can give you is the S section in Sector 1. When you get to the last left-hander where it loops around onto the straight, you would run the curb because logic would dictate that's what the racing line is. But if you step out of the white line, there is no grip on the track, and that goes for the entire track. If you go off the white line, even though it's not actually a curb or a AstroTurf runoff, it's actually just concrete or asphalt, just like on the racing line, it's just painted, there's no grip. Oh, if you just touch that curb, it's game over. Through goes Max, Antonelli's going to follow here, and that's fine, but find the consistency because the AI don't have this issue. So yeah, please make Miami more raceable. Any off-track element has no grip and it's no fun. The car just slides, it doesn't work. But the most clear example I can give you is that left-hander onto the back straight, because you drive onto that curb, which everybody does. It's the racing line. Also, you know, the AI do it, you can't follow their line because they don't understeer, but you do, the player, and that doesn't make any sense. It leads to very slow Sector 1 times, which in turn you recover in Sector 3 because, or Sector 2 actually, because you're very quick through the very slow kind of chicane area at the end before the back straight. So there's a big discrepancy in lap time there, so balance that out. And the last one, which I found out today, another pit lane issue, if you box in Miami, sometimes online, it can skip you forward by 1 lap, which I'll leave the footage on screen as well of all these things I'm talking about. But yeah, that's pretty insane. So Miami needs a lot of work. And there's one more that I need to mention, also from personal experience. The time of day is wrong. It did get patched a little while back, but it's still not correct. The timing of all the sessions is wrong. Like, there's also other examples of other tracks where for some reason sessions are run in like the late evening setting, like in dusk, which doesn't happen in real life. Even on sprint weekends, nothing is run at low light conditions, generally speaking, unless, you know, it's certain night tracks. So all the timing of the sessions in game needs to be reviewed, also stun positioning, all those things. The lighting is off. Now, number 3, this is Spectator bug. So this is mainly for replay cameras when you go to theater mode for career mode content when I'm recording this. Also goes and applies to league racing, of course, when they're, you know, running their commentaries and broadcasting those races. So it kind of all ties in. Now, number 1, the biggest one on the list, one that I've experienced myself and I can't believe is a thing still after I think 2 or 3 years now of having this bug. I want to say since F1 23 is when I first saw this. The start lights don't work. Like, they don't work. Sometimes you get a normal start light procedure from 1 up to 5, but you get like number 2, number 4, then back down to 1, and then 5, and then the lights go out. They're all over the place, and I can put a visual example on screen now, but it makes no sense. The lights are super inconsistent, and it's the most basic thing of any racing game. The 5 red lights are iconic. You can't have that be wrong. Another one which is very common, especially in leagues, and ruins the experience of the viewer, is the timing tower bugs out massively. Whenever there's a safety car or a virtual safety car, the lap timer will switch to kind of the yellow highlight of VSC deployed, safety car deployed, or yellow flag, and that basically stays on permanently on the timing tower, thus eliminating the lap counter. So the viewer doesn't have any knowledge of what lap they're on, and if there's any green flag conditions currently present or red flag conditions, because the yellow or the safety or the VSC overrides everything. Also in spectator modes, cars glitch and freeze in the pit lane. We've seen this many times where a car comes into the pit box, serves its pit stop, and you think there's a bug or something's gone wrong because the car is sitting there, and then suddenly the car disappears and reappears back on track, and it turns out this entire time there was nothing wrong. The car served its stop but we didn't get to see the second half of the animation where the car leaves the pit box, exits the pits, and rejoins the track. So that needs to be fixed. Also, I remember seeing an example of this recently with Creator Series in Brazil with Alex Gillen and Razin Chai. And the last one, this one's been in the game for so long and I can't believe it's still a thing. I really don't understand how it's a thing.
It's been consistent all the way through this particular championship that the sprint races seem to be just where ETA are absolutely at their best. It's just a shame we can't translate that into the big races.
Why do we still have that? It's such a simple thing that needs fixing. This is in the category of the 5 red lights. It's a racing game. Just make a spectator mode that's palatable. Number 4, other bugs relating to gameplay and peripherals. Number 1, the VSC timings are broken and incorrect. So when there's a virtual safety car, it doesn't always go green at the same time for everyone. And I'll show an example now of something that happened in a league race recently, and if I can get it, I'll show another example that happened recently in a Creator Series Mexico race also, where everybody restarted at different times and it ended up actually giving certain people illegal overtakes. So that's broken and that needs big fixing. The weather reading, the weather system is wrong in the sprint. So for example, pre-race, when you do your strategy, you get given the same 6 or 7 weather icons as the full race. So it's not scaled appropriately. So you're not going to get a really accurate weather reading for any sprint race pre-race. Also regarding sprints, the sprint results are incorrect. When you're in a career mode setting and you're looking at the menus and you look at the results, the season results, the sprint portion of those is wrong. I believe it actually shows the full classification of the full race results in the sprint tab as well, which is weird. Also, this ties into another bug, which is the garage or in-pit garage monitor. You can't get an accurate read on the forecast. Sometimes it might say it's sunny throughout, but the temperature goes and drops all the way through, which kind of intends to signal there's rain on the way, but all the icons are sunny. Or you might get mixed icons, but the percentages don't line up with what that weather picture icon is. It's all wrong. The weather in garage pit monitor thing just isn't accurate, and you kind of a lot of times have to guess what's going to happen. Last but not least, one that I'm suffering with a lot. I have one of these per race or per stream. Also, I tend to get these when they happen. It's really hard to fix and recover, but I believe it's happened to other people as well. On my Fanatec, I get massive force feedback dropouts. So yeah, it's going to be criminal. And what's wrong with my car? We've had an issue? Nothing's working. My wheels just like stopped working. Force feedback. That's to show for the EA guys. I nearly lost force feedback there. Like, you're going through a corner and then suddenly the force feedback disappears, and because you're turning against force, because it disappears suddenly, you just kind of go, you lock, and that can make a massive difference at any time. And in offline modes you can flashback to fix that, but if you're in an online situation you can't. So that is not fun, not good. It really ruins the experience and can sometimes really disrupt your flow, especially in a competitive setting. Like, you really wouldn't want that to happen in sim racing or esports. So I hope that gets fixed. Anyway, those are my 4 bug points. Now we're going to talk about improvements for the F1 26 expansion. I only have 6 points for this, very simple, and I've tried to keep these within a realm of things that are possible to achieve without changing the game. Like, literally the infrastructure is there, you just have to tweak some code. So number 1 is going to be AI needs 120 difficulty, okay? We need an improvement here. We've been asking for it for years. All we get every year is more catering and tailoring to the casual player, whether it's easy mode, very easy mode, assists, whatever it may be. I understand that's the casual audience, that's the broad kind of market base, but trust me, it would help massively for, you know, competitive players on the upper end who maybe don't play F1 anymore and have switched to iRacing or Le Mans Ultimate or whatever it may be. They might come back and actually enjoy a career mode, like me for example, way more if the AI were to pose a challenge. Now, one small note. I would overhaul and fix the AI entirely, but that is something for 27. For 26, the way the AI work, like all the past games, they make them faster by reducing their car mass, their chassis weight. So I don't love that because it leads to the AI having ridiculous acceleration and traction, but for the sake of the short-term pain, F126, keep that same system, just reduce their car weight even more and just make them faster on 120, please. Like, it would add so much more depth to career mode and more long-term playability for everyone. Number 2, this is the biggest one probably on the list and probably should have been number 1. I've seen this spoken about before and we need to get it out in the open. Slipstream needs a rework and it doesn't have to be that complicated. Literally on the XML, whatever you use to edit the values, just increase the slipstream effectiveness the closer you get to the car in front. The stronger the slipstream is, which is logical, the closer you get to the car in front, make that stronger. The stronger it is, the easier it is to pass, because dirty air is a big thing in this game and it's not fun when you're racing with that. But I like it because it does give a sense of realism and making overtaking quite challenging, and that's good. But all we need is a little tweak on slipstream to make that dirty air really kind of justified and viable. So essentially what the game currently has is the slipstream has the same power, strength, regardless of how close you are. Another one, the AI still run around in packs or kind of isolate different parts of the racetrack. I specifically have this in qualifying, but it's happened before where in Q3 for the final runs or Q2 for the final runs, the AI will all go out in like a blob, in a group, and they end up all kind of cancelling each other out and nobody goes faster. So that's kind of something from F124 that's carried over into 25 where the AI would run in packs. That's still a thing. Another one, really big one, wet weather just doesn't work in offline modes, okay? In online, everybody knows the intermediate is the way to go. You do not run the wet weather tyre, okay? Because it's proven the wets don't work. Now, in a way, that's fine because in real life, the wet tyres don't work. That's good. But when it comes to AI racing, again, the AI are dumb. They don't understand. So they will stick and insist on a wet tyre when it's glaringly obvious it's intermediates. So either, I don't know how to do it, rescale the tyres, retrain the AI. What I would do, short-term fix, just basically don't have the AI run the full wets because they're not quicker. Just only have them run inters, and that's it. That's what I would do. Just discard the wet from their programming, from their strategy, and only have inters because the wet is never or hardly ever faster. Like genuinely, I can think of one occasion where the wet was actually faster than the inter. So just please fix the wet weather for the AI. I'm not talking about their pace or nothing like that. Just simply don't make them use the wet because it doesn't work. It's not faster than the inter at any point, or make the inter slower in heavier rain conditions. Another one for career mode, transfers are broken and need a rework. A very subtle, either a value tweak or something changed in the code very, very slightly, because basically what happens is top tier drivers who are 90 plus rated, if the transfer market goes a certain way, they end up being free agents. It would never happen. You would never have a Carlos Sainz like I had be a free agent, or maybe even a Nico Hulkenberg to some extent, although that has happened in the past, but you would never have a Carlos Sainz be a free agent. And I've seen like Arab's career mode where I think either Russell or Leclerc, like some top drivers weren't signed by any team. And that's a slight, I'm going to guess, consequence of the reworked transfer system this year with the slider model that we have in terms of the realism of the transfers and how crazy they can get. Some good drivers get left out, and that makes zero sense. Also, there's a tendency for teams to really pick young drivers, and those young drivers don't level up fast enough. No one's going to play 10 seasons of career mode to get a Hadjar to 98 rated. People want to see that within 2-3 seasons max, because the playing scale of the career mode is quite short. So you need to scale that shorter. Last but not least, red flags are inconsistent and broken, especially in online modes, and that can lead to incorrect tyre allocation or tyres being given, and also they can bug lobbies, hence why a lot of leagues don't run them still. Like, we've had red flags for times we've not had red flags in certain games, but whenever we had them, they just can't be run in leagues because they just break things. Like, please resolve red flags, because that would be a really good feature for league racing that we never get. It's a variable that we're never going to have in sim racing, esports. Please fix it. Anyway, all of these things, especially in the improvements tab, I'm 95% certain it's all related to just coding tweaks and just enabling certain things. You don't have to rebuild a game from the ground up to make these things happen. So yeah, hopefully we can get these for 26. And one last extra note, please add the Madrid circuit. A new circuit really helps add some freshness to the game, especially if we're sticking with this for 18 months. And secondly, one-off liveries, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not a big fan of survival mode, but that's not going to change. I really enjoy elimination mode, which is something you could bring into the game to make the game more fun as a permanent game mode, but I don't care how you do it. In this case, we're using survival mode for special liveries. Cool, fine. But just keep bringing those liveries out, because that adds a bit. It adds something. Like if you're doing a driver career, you can actually run these liveries, I believe, which no one's doing right now because driver career hasn't changed. But in the future, that might be the case with Cadillac coming in, with Audi coming in. People might start doing driver career modes next year. Also, for leagues, it's quite cool for league racers like myself having special liveries for the cars for different rounds. Anyway, I'm gonna leave it there. Hopefully this video is not too long. I'm hoping that was quite concise, to the point. I would have put visual examples for certain things that I mentioned in this one, and yeah, hopefully I covered all bases. Guys, please comment below things I missed, and please, again, be realistic here. No custom calendars, no extra DLC tracks, no career mode features, no handling changes, nothing wild. We're talking about things that could be fixed in the short term, mini bugs, fixes that are really annoying that we get in day-to-day playability of this game that should be fixed but aren't, or reoccur. Those sort of things is what we're looking for. So comment below and thumbs up those comments that you think are in that category for Cody's and EA to see them down below. Anyway, I'll leave it there. Like the video, subscribe. I'll drop another video next week regarding what I want for 27, and that one will be a more hefty, in-depth video with many more demands and, let's say, demanding a higher quality of game for this with no excuses, because that is the one that we're all going to be judging very heavily. Anyway, cheers for watching. I won't ramble anymore. As always, guys, a massive shout out to my channel members that you'll see them on screen now. Also, please check out the 2 videos on screen for more content from myself that you may enjoy. And I'll see you guys soon. Take care. Let's go back from me. Ciao, ciao.